So, dear students, yesterday I gave you the Nernst equation to calculate cell potential or EMF of the cell. So, what is Nernst equation for cell potential? So, for Nernst equation for cell potential or EMF of cell, that is E cell equals E cell equals E naught cell minus 0.0591 divided by n log of concentration of products by concentration of reactants. So this is at 298 Kelvin or 25 degree centigrade. So now, this C50. Next we will study the relationship between E naught cell. What is E naught cell? Standard EMF of cell and Kc, that is equilibrium constant of reaction. So what is the relationship between standard EMF of the cell and Kc, that is equilibrium constant of the reaction? So let us consider a general cell reaction of the type, AA plus BB gives CC plus DD. Then according to Nernst equation, what is EMF of cell? EMF of cell, that is E cell equals E naught cell minus 0.0591 divided by n log of concentration of C to the power of C, concentration of D to the power of D divided by concentration of A to the power of A, concentration of B to the power of B. So this is Nernst equation to calculate cell potential or EMF of the cell, where E naught is the standard EMF of the cell and n is the number of electrons involved in the cell reaction. Here it is the ratio of concentration of products divided by concentration of reactants, all raised to the power equal to their coefficients. So at equilibrium, E cell is equal to 0. EMF of cell is 0. That means there is no flow of current on either side of the electrode. Therefore, E cell is equal to 0, and the ratio, that is concentration of C to the power of C, concentration of D to the power of D divided by concentration of A to the power of A into concentration of B to the power of B is equal to Kc, where Kc is called equilibrium constant. Kc equals equilibrium constant. So we have defined equilibrium constant is the ratio of the product of molar concentration of the products to that of the reactants, all raised to the powers equal to the coefficients in the balanced chemical equation. So substituting these values in equation 1, we will get 0 equals E naught cell minus 0.0591 divided by N log of Kc. Then this equation becomes E naught cell is equal to 0.0591 divided by N log of Kc. So this is the relationship between standard EMF of the cell. What is E naught cell? Equals standard EMF of the cell. How to determine the standard EMF of the cell? That is equals E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. You will get E naught of cell. N equals number of electrons involved. N equals number of electrons involved in the reaction, and Kc equals equilibrium constant. Kc equals equilibrium constant. This is the relationship between standard EMF of the cell and equilibrium constant. This equation is also very important to solve the problem. Again, this equation is also very important, that is Nernst equation to determine the cell potential or EMF of the cell. So example for Daniell cell. Example for Daniell cell. What is the representation of cell? Representation. So which is the anode and which is the cathode? Zn S bar Zn 2 plus 1 molar Cu 2 plus 1 molar bar Cu S. So here this one is anode and this one is cathode. So this is the representation of Daniell cell. And what is the cell reaction? Cell reaction. What is the cell reaction? So Zn S plus Cu2 plus 1 molar gives Zn2 plus 1 molar plus Cus. So this is the cell reaction. If you add the two electrode reactions, you will get cell reaction. Then what is EMF of the cell? EMF of cell, that is E cell is equal to, so what is the Nernst equation for E cell? That is E naught cell minus 0.0591 divided by N log of concentration of products. So here Zn2 plus concentration of Zn2 plus divided by concentration of reactants Cu2 plus, you have to write like this. So we are not considering concentration of Cu, S and concentration of Zn, S are considered as one because they are pure solids. For pure solids, the concentration is equal to 1. Therefore, neglecting the concentration of solids, this is the expression for EMF of the Daniell cell. Here n is equal to 2 because the number of electrons involved is equal to 2. By substituting the concentration of zinc ions and concentration of copper ions, we can calculate EMF of the cell. Then what is E0 cell? So we can calculate equilibrium constant. Also, E0 cell is equal to 0.0591 divided by n log of Kc, where Kc is equal to equilibrium constant. N is equal to 2 for Daniell cell. And then what is E0 cell? E0 cell is equal to E0 of copper minus E0 of zinc, because copper is cathode and zinc is anode. So this is 0.34 minus of minus 0.76, that is equals 1.1 volt. Therefore, then what is log Kc? Log Kc is equal to E0 cell into n divided by 0.0591. So what is E0 cell? 1.1 and n is equal to 2 divided by 0.0591. So this is log Kc. So log Kc is equal to how much? You will get 37.225. So then what is Kc is equal to anti-log of 37.225. So how to determine anti-log? Go to anti-log page. Then observe the value of 0.2250 is equal to 2. Characteristic is 0 is 1 into, make this as 10 to the power of 37. So anti-log of 0.2250 is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 37. So this is the value of Kc. Kc is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 37. This is how equilibrium constant of a reaction is determined. Next, let us study the relationship between delta G naught. What is delta G naught? Standard free energy change. Standard free energy change and E naught of cell. What is E naught of cell? This is standard EMF of cell. So this equation is also important. So equation will be used to work out problems. So relationship between delta G naught, standard free energy change, and E naught of cell, standard EMF of cell. So the reversible work done by a galvanic cell, is equal to its Gibbs free energy change. Gibbs free energy change. We know that the reversible work done by a galvanic cell is equal to its Gibbs free energy change. That is delta G is equal to minus NF E cell is equal to its Gibbs free energy change. So what is delta G? Delta G equals Gibbs free energy change. NF equals amount of current or charge passed and E cell is equal to EMF of cell. If the concentration of the reactants and products, if the concentration of reactants and products are unity, that is concentration of reactants and products is equal to 1 mole, concentration of reactants is equal to 1 mole, then E naught, then E cell is equal to E naught cell, that is EMF of cell is equal to E naught cell, where this is called standard EMF of cell. Then the free energy change is called standard free energy change. Delta G naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell, minus NF E naught cell. So this is also very important equation to calculate problems. So delta G naught, free energy, standard free energy change, N number of electrons involved, F equals Faraday, N equals number of electrons involved, F equals 96,500 coulombs, and E naught cell is equal to E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. So if you know E naught, you can calculate standard free energy change like this. So dear students, next let us learn reaction parameters at standard state. Reaction parameters at standard state. So what is the value of delta G? What is the value of E naught? Like that. So delta G naught. What is delta G naught? Standard free energy change. And then E naught cell, standard EMF of the cell. And then what is K? Equilibrium constant. And then reaction at standard state. Reaction at standard state. So we will know what are the values of what is delta G naught. Delta G naught is standard free energy change, like that. Standard free energy change, standard EMF of the cell, equilibrium constant, reaction at standard state. So if delta G naught is greater than, delta G naught is less than 0 or negative, E naught is greater than 0 or positive, and if K is greater than 1, the reaction at standard state is spontaneous reaction. If the value of delta G is less than 0 or negative, if E naught of cell is positive, the cell are greater than 0, or if the equilibrium constant is greater than 1, it is a spontaneous reaction. So, three conditions are there. If delta G naught is less than 0, if E naught is greater than 0, K is greater than 1, the reaction at standard state is spontaneous. And if delta G naught equals 0, if E naught is also equal to 0, if K is equal to 1, the reaction is at equilibrium. So, by knowing the value of delta G naught, E naught of cell and K, we can decide whether a cell reaction is spontaneous or not. So, what is the third condition? If delta G naught equals 0, E naught is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1, the reaction is at equilibrium. On the other hand, if delta G naught is greater than 0 or positive, if E naught is less than 0 or negative, and if K is less than 1, so the reaction is non-spontaneous reaction. So these are the reaction parameters. So to decide whether a reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous or in equilibrium, these are the values. If delta G naught, free energy change, is negative, the reaction is always spontaneous. If E naught of cell, EMF of cell is greater than 0, it is a spontaneous process. Equal to 0, the reaction is equilibrium. Less than 0, the reaction is not spontaneous like that. So depending upon the value of equilibrium constant, we can also decide whether it is spontaneous or non-spontaneous. If equilibrium constant is positive or greater than 1, spontaneous reaction, less than 1, non-spontaneous, equal to 1, the reaction is at equilibrium. So depending upon the value of delta G naught, E naught and K, we can say whether the reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous, or the reaction is at equilibrium. So next I will give you one problem. Given the standard electrode potential, E naught of K plus bar K is equal to minus 2.93 volts. AG plus bar AG is equal to 0.80 volt. HG2 plus bar HG is equal to 0.79 volt. Mg2 plus bar Mg is equal to minus 2.37 volt. Cr3 plus bar Cr is equal to minus 0.73 volt, etc. Arrange these metals in the increasing order of reducing power. So these are the electrodes. The electrode potentials are given. So from electrochemical series, what we have understood, as the electrode potential decreases from top to bottom, the reducing power increases. So that you have to bear in your mind. So what is the answer? Number 1, as the E0 values decreases, as the E0 value decreases from top to bottom, the reducing power increases. As the E0 value decreases, reducing power increases, or good reducing agents, Also, as the E0 values increases from bottom to top, the oxidizing power increases, or good oxidizing agents. So this is from top to bottom, this is from bottom to top. So now we have to concentrate on the first term. As the E0 value decreases from top to bottom, the reducing power increases, or they are good reducing agents. So we have to arrange these metals in the order of increasing reducing power. So as the electrode potential decreases, what happens? The reducing power increases. Therefore, we have to arrange these electrodes in the decreasing order of their electrode potential. So the order of decreasing electrode potential, or increasing reducing power is. So which electrode has highest electrode potential? So Ag plus bar Ag, this one is highest. Next, second highest is Hg2 plus bar Hg, and then Cr3 plus bar Cr, and then magnesium Mg2 plus bar Mg, and then lastly K plus bar K. So what is the unit of Ag? This is 0.80 and this one is 0.79, and next chromium is minus 0.79, and then magnesium is minus 2.37, and finally potassium is minus 2.93. So this is the decreasing order of their reduction electrode potential or increasing order of their reducing power. So this is the increasing order of their reducing power. Understand? So you have to write like this. One minute. Dear students, regarding the problems on Nernst equation for electrode potential, Nernst equation for EMF of cell, relation between standard EMF of cell and equilibrium constant, and free energy and standard electrode potential, we will work out the problems on these formulas in the end of this chapter. So now I will start batteries. Batteries. You know what is a battery? What is a battery? You have seen batteries which are used in automobiles, which are used in UPS, which are used in inverters, which are used in torches, which are used in calculators, etc. These are all batteries. For example, dry cell is a battery which is used in torches and which is used in remotes. All these are batteries. Then what are batteries or cells? Batteries are the electrochemical cells which are used as portable source of electricity. So what are batteries? Batteries are the electrochemical cells which are used as portable source of electricity, electric current, which are used as portable source of electric current or electricity. Coming to the types of batteries. So batteries are of two types. Number one, primary batteries, and number two, secondary batteries. So the definitions of primary batteries and secondary batteries are very important. They will be asked in the examinations. So first we will know what are primary batteries. What are primary batteries or cells? Give examples. So you know dry cell, which are used in torches, which are used in remotes, which are used in calculators, etc. are primary batteries. What are primary batteries? These are the batteries which cannot be recharged. So they will become dead after some period of time. Such batteries are called primary batteries. The batteries which cannot be recharged. Batteries which cannot be recharged and they become dead after some period of time. The batteries which cannot be recharged and they become dead after some period of time are called primary batteries. Primary batteries. So the batteries which we will use in torches, if they become dead, we will throw it away and they cannot be recharged. Such batteries are called primary batteries. Batteries which cannot be recharged and they become dead after some period of time are called primary batteries. So here the cell reaction takes place only once. So example for primary batteries: dry cell, the cell which are used in batteries, torches, etc. Dry cell, they are also called as Leclanché cell. Leclanché cell. Number 2, mercury cell. So button cells which are used in watches, they are mercury cells. They are primary cells. Dry cell or Leclanché cell, mercury cell, etc. are primary batteries. Then we will know what are secondary batteries. This is also very important. What are secondary batteries? What are secondary batteries? Give example. So primary batteries are the batteries which cannot be recharged, whereas secondary batteries are the batteries which can be recharged by passing electric current in the opposite direction, and then they can be used for many days. They can be used for long time. Such batteries are called secondary batteries. The batteries which can be recharged. How we can recharge? Can be recharged by passing electric current in the opposite direction. So if current flows out in one direction, if you pass electricity in the opposite direction, these batteries can be recharged. Batteries which can be recharged by passing electric current in the opposite direction, and they can be used for very long time are called secondary batteries. So example for secondary batteries are lead storage batteries. Example for lead storage batteries which are used in motorbikes, cars, trains, buses, inverters, UPSs, etc. are lead storage battery. Number 2, nickel cadmium cell. Cadmium cells. So these cells are similar to dry cells, but they can be recharged by passing current in the opposite direction. They are called nickel cadmium batteries. And lead storage batteries. So these are the batteries which we will use in UPSs. When current goes, what happens? The stored electricity is used when the power supply is there, the battery goes on charging. So these are the batteries which can be recharged by passing electric current in the opposite direction, and they can be used for many days. Such batteries are called secondary batteries. Example for secondary batteries: lead storage battery and nickel cadmium cell or batteries, etc.